Hello, Cecilia.
Hello, Sveti. It's very nice to be here.
I'm so happy that you accepted this invitation. We have with us Cecilia Yeung, HR professional, professional trainer and facilitator and coach with solid experience in the area. But I would like to give you the floor to present yourself briefly.
Yes, of course. So I have been in human resources, providing training and development for my clients for over 20 years. And the last 15 have been focused on leadership development. That's my passion area. And I have evolved over the years. And right now I'm really specializing and particularly inspired by doing work that creates a spark in others. I really look for that opportunity to help people find their potential, and that's what lights me up. So it can be in many different forms. So I find that with all the years of development and tools that I've learned, it doesn't matter. There's no set formula. It's about customizing it to that individual's needs. So in a nutshell, I hope it doesn't sound too vague, but my purpose in life is to help others discover their purpose and their spark.
I can 100% reconfirm that you have been helping me, finding my own spark as being a dear mentor of mine. I'm so happy to be now with you in this relationship, also of the interview within the Burnout Coaching Project. And straight to the point, I'm curious from your experience, what makes it closer and similar in terms of burnout prevention when we talk about it in the context of education and training? What makes those two things similar, if at all?
So burnout is an interesting term, right? And it's now common in our language, right? And it's not taken as seriously because burnout is now a definitive health issue. Like it is an alert health issue. And of course, COVID did not help. It added to the cases of people experiencing burnout. I myself went through a devastating period over 10 years ago. But at the time, it wasn't discussed, it wasn't acknowledged, and it was seen as a condition that was completely self-afflicted. And maybe partly so, but also it just wasn't recognized. So I'm glad that there are people like you putting a voice to it. And if I were to do it all over again from 10 years ago, I would not have called it burnout prevention. I would have called it well-being, maintaining my boundaries, and practicing self-care. So that's actually what I did. I call it my extreme self-care process. So I have a friend who's also a trainer, and we both agree that when we are on the road, when we're traveling, when we are working to such extremes, we must practice extreme self-care.
Can you say that this is at the end your formula after going yourself through burnout, how to take care of yourself as a professional facilitator and trainer?
Yes. The reason why someone in a role as mine needs to be even more cognizant and very mindful of having a self-care routine is because when we are on, we are on. We are on far more than the next person. And it's a day-to-day, multiple hour kind of on, meaning we're exerting so much energy when we are in a training room. So there needs to be additional tools to help us maintain that level of energy. And I'm not sure about you, but for me, as an independent consultant, I have worked with many clients over the years. I cannot have a bad day. I cannot show up at work and say, oh, I don't feel great today, so please don't mind me. I have to be always on. So therefore, what we call boundaries, and I think this is something that now is becoming more and more normalized, like people understanding what their boundaries are. This has to be very clear. This has to be extremely well articulated, understood, and enforced. So I'm going to say again, boundaries are really important. And I learned it inadvertently because myself, I had burnout, I had a health breakdown, but it was also a tool for me to remain alert, high energy during my work. So this all came together, not by design, not because I had a course or I had resources. It all came together through a huge necessity, first off, but it was really important for me to create my own self-care package in order for me to continue my work.
What are some tips and tricks, some advice that you can give to people who are also professionally in training, in education, teachers including, to keep the atmosphere in their study environment where they provide their trainings fresh and alive? So if not preventing someone's burnout, at least not contributing to the overwhelm.
Yes, so I'm sure you will agree that energy is our most important resource, right? Increase your level of energy, and then there are things that take away. So if you look at, you start out with 100 points, right? You start out every day with 100 points.
Sometimes we start with less, but let's say that every day.
Let's say we all start out with 100 points, right? So what do you make sure that you keep topping up to it stay at 100, and that you reduce the things that take away, right? And I know that it's very straightforward. It's common sense, right? Sleep, diet, and your thoughts, right? So body, mind, spirit, those are the basics. But if we want to go a little deeper, then I would say being very clear on your priorities and your boundaries. Priorities and boundaries, because unfortunately, if you are in a position where you need to put in an excessive amount of energy during an 8-hour day at work, you will be very clear on what you cut out. You cannot go and have dinner with your friends that evening. You cannot go and additionally run errands at the end of the day. You're going to have to figure out another way for these other things in life to get done, because you just can't include it when you are expected to be on during a work day. So that's what I call my extreme self-care. Like, I had to be very clear, cut, and just narrow it down, because my energy is so important for that single day. But then afterwards, I might have a couple of days off, then I can do those things. So it's being very particular in how you manage your schedule, making clear your boundaries and priorities. And then I have some more other practical tips as well, right? But those are the basics, and you have to be tough with it. Otherwise, you will not be able to function, and you will not be able to sustain it over a long period of time.